Hi everyone, it's Eddie here at Eddie Makes Art. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do the Makers April color combo for 2024, and this month's colors are teal, magenta, and cream. Plus I can use a black, a white, and one metallic. So, before I get to the paints, let me show you what we're going to use for tools. We're using the Tangled Heart stencil. This is by my friend Estella Banks, and these are from PM Artist Studio. And also, I want to try and work in my stencil too as another layer, Flores Geométricas. Also available at PM Artist Studio. And if you're not familiar with PM Artist Studio, they are a small family business who are fantastic. They are P, Patricia, and Mariah. And Patricia's an artist and former art teacher, and Mariah's a graphic designer. And together they create some wonderful things and bring you so much information. They run a Facebook group called Makers. That's why this is the Makers April Color Combo. It's one of the events we do over there. And then the other thing they do is they live stream 4 times a week, Sundays and Mondays at 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3. Now those are Central US times, or Central Standard Time, I guess you call it. And they live stream for 2 hours on those 4 days. And they do all sorts of fantastic stuff. And the chat is always, fun, informative, hilarious. You'll often find me there. And they have a great shop as well. So if you go to pmartiststudio.com, you'll see all of their wonderful stencils that are cut to order, their foam stamps that are also cut to order, and other artisty goodies in there too. So check them out. You can use my discount code EddieFan10, EddieFan10 when you check out, and you save 10% off on any order of $35 or more. So let's get started. And then today I'm going to be using my 8.5 by 11 gel plate. This is the bigger of the two that I own, And I thought today we could do some fun layers. I haven't tried this one before, so we're gonna, give it a go here on camera and see what happens. The first color I have here is the Permanent Magenta. I just got this from Winsor Newton. It's part of the Galleria acrylic line, and it's a transparent paint. And I really like it, so I think this will work well here. And then for my cream, I'm gonna use this parchment color from Liquitex Basics. And then I thought I'd make my own teal. The teal I have is kind of bright and kind of, it's too opaque for my liking. But I think that if I make it with this cerulean blue hue and this phthalo green, I think I can get a nice shade of teal. So I think the first thing I want to do is mix up my teal, get that down, and then put the Tangled Heart stencil over that. And that way the outline on the print is going to be teal hearts. So that's the goal here. So let's get started. It's a noisy day here in town. You're going to hear a lot of trucks behind me. I apologize for that, but there is nothing I can do about it. And it's the beginning of a very rainy week, rest of the week. I'm filming this on a Wednesday, and it's gonna be yucky. This is the cerulean hue, or cerulean blue hue, from Winsor Newton Galleria. I actually got this free with an order I placed at Jerry's Artorama. They were having some sort of promotional sale on acrylic paints. So, and they weren't very expensive either. These big tubes, they hold a lot, and they were about $7, I think, $7 or $8. It was pretty good, because that's what I pay for one of these. Sometimes more. Okay, we got a little phthalo green here. Come on out. I think that's a little little bit of a booger there that I want to get out before it gets into my paint. Okay. Just a little tissue, wipe it off there. So little by little, I'm just going to start mixing in some of this green into the blue. And essentially you want to do, equal parts blue and green. But I find that if I add my darker color slowly to the lighter color, I have better control over the final color. This is not fully mixed. Come on, get in there. This is my very expensive art palette that I got from Maxwell House. Oh, already getting paint everywhere, Eddie. So that to me still a little bit more blue than I wanted. So I'm going to do a little bit of the green again, phthalo. If we mix this up well enough, it's going to be the shade that I'm looking for. So, let's see. Just trying to get up all that blue, and let's hope this is enough. I don't think it's going to be enough. Let me mix up a little bit more. Now we got some texture there. Call that. Where's my brayer? Here we are. Come on, Bertha. That's the color I want. Beautiful teal. Something on here. Do I? Come on. All right. I just have some scrap paper here off to the side that I'm cleaning my brayer off on. I think I have it out of shot. Stencil. Let's lay this puppy down. Always, when you're laying down a stencil onto your gel plate with these Yupo stencils, what you want to make sure is you can rub both sides. Each side has a different surface. One is smoother than the other. You want to put the less smooth side down onto your surface or your gel plate. Get some. Here's an old sheet of paper or a brayer that I can brayer off. I can use to pick that up. And I'm just rubbing firmly, not really trying to smush the paper around, because that can get you in trouble with the, while the paint's still wet, it can move the stencil around. So look at that. Very nice. All right, let's see if I can find another good brayer off onto. I have this little box next to me that has all kinds of papers and stuff, brayer offs. Put some on here. Why not? So like I said, my thing is to try and have the hearts as the top layer, which is will be a teal color. So we just want the outlines of the heart, and then introduce the teal or the magenta in the next layer. And somewhere in between, I'm going to put some gold. Oh, that's lovely. I think the rest of this I can pick up with some carnival tissue. And yeah, my stencil is already moved. See, I did push a little too hard, but I think we'll be fine. I'm not going to worry too much about that now because it's too late. So let me see if I can get any more of that up. And okay, coming up here. A little bit more. Now I want to go ahead and go over this with some gold and then pick it up because I want to create some shininess on the edges of the stencil. So take some of this gold here. This is Amsterdam Deep Gold. It looks like that. Really nice shade of gold. And we'll just braid that over. I don't need a ton of gold because, like I said, I'm just mainly putting it on to get it into the edges and the outline of the hearts. Nice brayer off. I'm going to retire that right now. Been using teal and blue a lot lately. So I'm going to get a fresh piece of tissue here. This is Carnival Wet Strength tissue. If you haven't watched me before, I use the Carnival Wet Strength tissue when I gel print because it's in the name, it's strong and it holds up to wet mediums very well. Once in a while though, depending on the amount of paint or the color of the paint, you don't want to have a paper towel handy because that paint can come through and you will have paint all over your hands, which for me, honestly, even if I do this step, I still get it all over my hands, but that's okay. All right. Come on. Let's see, that picked up some of that teal, which is nice. I love that. It looks like a puzzle. Okay, so let me see what else, if I can pick up anything else with this tissue here. Very nice, very nice. This picked up more of the teal, which is great. Look at that. Great paper to work on later. Okay, so let's see what we're working with here. Okay, you see my stencil moved that way a little bit, but not gonna worry about it. Now, what I want to do is I want to let this, pick up the stencil and then let this layer dry, and then I can come back and put in the next, we'll work on the next layer. How about that? So let's see here. Ooh, that's nice. Got some little crazing going on there. That'll give us nice texture. All right, let me set that to the side. I'm gonna let it dry. I'm gonna clean off my stencil here, and then I'll come back once that is dry. Okay, now that this layer is sufficiently dried, well, it's completely dried, I should say, what I decided to do is I'm going to take the stencil, the same heart stencil, and I'm going to put it back down on the plate over the design, so exactly over where it was before, and make sure it's lined up. Okay, now This part I got to be a little more gentle with because the stencil is sitting on dried paint, so I don't want it to move around, and I don't want it to for the paint to go under the stencil either. So I'm gonna take my time here, and I'm gonna bring in a little sparkle to this layer. I'm gonna use some of this Hippie Crafter mica powder. This is a pearlescent pigment, and it's fuchsia, but it's the closest I have to the magenta, actually. So let's see here. What I'm gonna do is take it and put it directly on my plate. And I'm just gonna go and put it in different areas. Like maybe do some here. Just kind of go all around. There go those trucks. And we'll just put some down in different areas. This is a great way to brighten up your prints or give them some shine. And you can get a couple of pulls off a layer of mica powder on the gel plate. It will hang out there for a while. And if you really need to get it off, the best way to do it is use what you use to condition your plate with, whether it be a baby oil or mineral oil. Either one of those will take that mica powder off for you. All right. Some here on the edge, a little bit here. Yeah, I'll need some here. There we go. And here. I think that's good. I'm just going to clean this off. All right. So, like I was saying, this next part I have to be very careful with because I do not want to move the stencil from where it is. So I'm just gonna drop the paint in a couple spots. Actually, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get my small gel plate. It's got paint on it already, but it's this was just a cleanup from a test I did that I'm just going to paint over, and it'll give me a fun print for another day. All right. So I'm taking a little brayer, put a little paint down here. This will allow me to go into areas and paint it, and it'll be nice and even without dropping globs of paint all over the stencil that may cause it to be a lot thicker in certain areas. So I want this to be more even. So I'm gonna come in here. You see how that's wanting to lift? So gotta be careful here. Now doing this will seal in that mica powder so you don't have to worry about it rubbing off onto your hands after you've completed your print. And if you want to know more about using your mica powders on your gel plate, fellow YouTuber Therese Aragona has a channel, and she's been creating some really beautiful prints using mica powders. And I will link her channel below so you can check her out there. I think that's good. I'm going to just take a peek from the back. This will be the front, actually, what you see. That's interesting. Well, I think it's going to look fabulous. And like I said, this is one of those challenges that we do over at Makers on Facebook, the makers of mixed media art and artists. And we do these events and we challenge each other. Now, I'm picking up some paint, I know that. I'm just trying to see something. And we have different events that help you challenge yourself to exploring new things, trying out new techniques, expand your color wheel knowledge. So, I'm gonna add another layer of paint here, and I'm just gonna give it a second just to kind of set up a little bit more. I think I want a little bit more. Just want a little bit darker. And that's why I pulled out the little plate, because it makes it easier to get it on there. So I'm just gonna lightly go over that. And always remember, it's just paint and paper. If it doesn't come out the way you want it, do it again. Okay. Set this little bad boy to the side. Actually, that goes here. I just kind of rearranged where I put my stuff, trying to make it easier for me to get at it while I'm working. Look at that. How fab is that? All right, so, and you can even see the outlines of the gold that we put down. Very cool. All right, I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna clean my stencil, and then we'll come around and then we'll do the next layer. Now this layer is dry, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the next stencil on, which is my Stencils Flores Geométricas. And I'm gonna lay this down on top of here. So for this next layer, from the cream, which is one of the colors in the combo, Teal, Magenta, Cream, I'm going to use some parchment here. This is Liquitex. And we'll see how it goes. That's not me, that's the paint. All right, just slowly get this down. I don't want that stencil popping up like it's doing. Get into the little nooks and crannies there. Okay, I think that's good. Get this bad boy off of there. Cool. So this is what it's going to look like. And I think that's going to look kind of really cool. So I'm going to let this layer dry. And okay, this print is now all dry. Well, not the print, but the paint on the gel plate. And I'm going to pick it up with the gloss gel medium because I don't want to use an additional color because I just think it'll just darken it up too much. And I don't want to steer away from the color combo. So I'm just going to go and pick it up with this gloss gel medium. It's an acrylic medium. And it's, yeah, safe for your plate. That is for sure. I might have put too much, but got a few layers of paint here I want to pick up. And this will have to dry for a little while. This is also a great medium to use if you pull the print and part of it is still stuck to the plate, if you can, slap a little of this gel medium on there and then lay the paper back down onto your plate and then wait for that to dry. Usually that does the trick. I'm gonna lay this down this way to make sure I get it nice and straight. How beautiful is that? That's gonna be a fun print once it's finally dry. All right, this has been drying for a little while. So let's take a peek and see what's going on. All right, fingers crossed. Gonna crack my edges here. Make sure everything comes up off the edges. You can even hear it when it breaks the seal of the paint from the gel plate. Let's see. So far, so good. Yeah, that looks awesome. Oh, got a little hanger on there, but this is where our gel medium comes in. We can get a little bit in here. She's a little plastic or a silicone spatula. Get under here. Some of that's coming up too. That's okay. I can always come back and fill in those spots, but I think for now it's good. I'm going to let it sit and dry. Well, not dry, it's already dry, but I mean like this little patch here that I did. But yeah, I think that turned out really great. I mean, I don't know how I feel about the stencil in the back, but if you look at it, you can see it here. You can see that show up nicely, I think. The magenta in the openings of the flower. And then you can see the gold outline here. So that's our metallics. We have our teal, magenta, and the cream in the background. And then we have our metallic, which is a gold. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this month's color combo. And if you want to do more self-challenging projects like these, please head over to Makers of Mixed Media Art and Artists on Facebook. That's PM Artist Studios group over there. And you answer a couple of questions to get in, because it is a private group, but it's a fun group. And see some other stuff that we do. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day.